what's going on, y'all? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And you're about to watch a little OTB LSU.
We're going to give you all the latest, greatest between LSU football, baseball, women's basketball, softball, and everything in between.
Bottom line, if you want to talk Tigers, keep it locked, subscribe, like it.
Patrick Vine says, should we be contending? Yes. Florida State has flipped it faster. Tennessee flipped it faster. UFC flipped it fast enough to put, and then I think he basically went on to say, to play us. And then he says, regardless, look at Heupel. So, okay, a few things here. If you are saying that you have a problem overall versus what you expected when this hire was made, where you'd be at in year 3 and where you feel like you're at this year, I'm not going to disagree with that. Sure, Brian Kelly brought national championship expectations. You immediately turned it around in a really impressive way year 1. You won 10 games back-to-back years, even played for that SEC championship in year 1. So, yes, the fact that you still feel as flawed as you do, personnel-wise, defensively, where really the edges are the only group that's really good, that is overall disappointing. I don't know if it's about getting older or what it is, but when I think about football season, how fleeting it is. We're already through 4 weeks here, guys. Third of the way through the season already. It's a freaking bummer. But when I think about football season, I start to just enjoy, or I start to just evaluate the season and the games for what it is and they are individually, right? These larger conversations about how on schedule you should be from a program development standpoint. I feel like those are the off-season conversations that we have for the entire offseason. And so, yes, again, like where you're at defensively right now is a disappointment. And there are some original sins that you could point back to. Allowing Corey Raymond to leave, not making him one of the immediate guys that you get to stick around. Now you have to go back and you have to go kind of crawling back to him and get him back. So it's a classic thing where, yes, once again, you avoid like some cost fallacy and you make a good decision in the end, but the time in which it took you to get there and the original mistake has cost you the timeline a bit. The Matt House hire seemed great year 1, absolutely imploded year 2. Speaking of timeline, if you could have made that Blake Baker announcement sooner last year, you could have made that Bo Davis announcement sooner last year, your defense is probably in a better spot in terms of the guys who are returning. The issue there is Bo Davis was playing for a semifinal. Blake Baker and Mizzou playing New Year's Six Bowl. And then still even that, I feel like they maybe thought they were going to run it back. Like they were slow in making a decision, so that timeline got affected. That said, I'm still a long-term believer in the staff and the direction of the program. I think in terms of your base that you're building through high school, you're really solid. You're playing a ton of young guys defensively. That comes with short-term pain, but long-term gain. And the high school recruiting appears to get better and better every year. And especially now, ever since you brought Frank Wilson back, right? Brian Polian's another one that you could argue was one of the original missteps that really set you back. Now you get Frank Wilson back, and you're starting to see the dividends. Look at the 25 class. You had Bo Davis and Corey Raymond recruiting that as well. Blake Baker, way more personable guy. Like, the timeline, so here's, I guess, what I'm getting at. The timeline overall, I think you are a bit off here, right? Year 3 is not going to be the peak year that you were hoping for, but I do believe that peak years are coming. And I'm not sure that LSU will ever, in this modern era, as long as there is no sort of salary cap, I'm not sure that LSU will ever consistently be like a top 5 team in the entire country, right? I don't think they'll ever achieve like the Saban under Alabama, the Kirby Smart Georgia, the Ryan Day Ohio State stuff. But they're definitely still good enough where, every few years you can get frisky and threaten a championship. And I believe that this team will eventually. I just think you have to adjust your timeline for this year or don't. I mean, you enjoy the year however you want to. And if you're going to consistently hold them to that year 3 expectation, say they're falling short of it, that is completely fair. That is completely fair. But I'm meeting this team where it's at. And where it's at is a really good offense with a really, really good quarterback and a defense that plays hard, but is just limited talent-wise or experience-wise. Very young in that secondary, and you're still trusting them, which I like. You're not going cowardly. You're saying, yeah, these guys are young, but guess what? Let's throw them in the deep and see if they can swim. Let's play single high man coverage the entire game. And let's get after the quarterback with our linebackers, try to create havoc and trust those guys on the back end. And it didn't work in the first half, it did in the second. And you got great edges. So that's what I would say in terms of just objectively great things. This edge group is damn good. Braden Swinson is leading the way right now. 2 more sacks for Swinson, but it's the effort that these guys play with. Him and Savion Jones just play with their hair on fire. And really, so does the interior D-line, I feel like, plays their ass off too in terms of effort. But they don't quite have the skill to pop as much as the edge. But they play with their hair on fire. They got great pass rush moves. And as Brian Kelly pointed out after the game in his post-game press conference, credit to Kevin Peoples, because these are different body sizes. These are different types of rushers. And yet, Peoples has been able to teach them different moves that benefit their size and have been able to make them get home. The Swinson move on the first sack, it was a 3-man rush. And Swinson or Jones are right there. And Swinson's move going kind of through his chest with a bull rush to negate the guard help, then rip into the outside was a thing of beauty. There were multiple holding calls this game that were called and were not called that should have been, that were created by really great pass rushers. On the Swinson sack force fumble, they tried to block him with 2 tight ends. He's now reached that pass rushing standpoint where you just don't do that or you're going to get burned. 2 tight ends try to block him, went about how you thought it would, sack force fumble. On the Jardine Gilbert interception, it gets declined, hold called on Braden Swinson. Called against him, or not against it, like they were holding. The point is, he's just consistently disrupting everything the offense is trying to do right now. Savion Jones should have had a whole sack to his name. Not sure why they said they had sack. I don't know if they changed that. It was nice seeing Gabriel Relaford pushing a lineman right into the quarterback, not his first sack. So, again, and even Sean Womack had a nice rush and nice pass breakup this game. So the interior, you got to get better talent-wise, and they'll get better with experience as well, because I continue to really like how Ahmad Bro's playing. He's just undersized, and he's just so young. And the secondary is kind of the same thing, just so young right now. But again, I can see that this group is better coached. I just don't know how to prove to y'all that through arguing or debate or stats, because the numbers, if we're being completely honest, the numbers don't really reflect it. So you can just tell me to shut the hell up, call me a sunshine pumper, whatever you want to. But that's like my God's honest evaluation of this LSU football team as we sit today.
Wow, Jake, what incredible takes.
I mean, those guys, they're just the best.
I think so. And if you think so, again, hit the like button, subscribe, ring the bell so you get notifications when we post every single day here on OTB LSU.